Hi there. I'm so excited. This is Dr. Erin, Doctor of Divinity. And I want to come in here and we're just basically going to break on down what is universal law. If you're somebody that truly desires to have greatness in your life, you're ready to turn on the faculties within your DNA so that you're no longer being, stopped and sabotaging your success through the traumas in your track. You're ready to have a deep, deep spiritual awakening, and not only just from an ethereal realm, but also be able to actually be enlightened within the body, dealing with the DNA so that you can live fully and love fully. I know for me personally, as a doctor of divinity and the founder of Society, New Thought Global, and the TV host of Good Morning La Land, I know that that it's possible. I went from being a completely, financially, emotionally, spiritually bankrupt young woman with lots of trauma on her track, everything from stillborn son to having date rape in high school to having, my parents divorced to you name it, all the things that people get traumatized around. Recognizing that there was a decision that I made, and in that I sought truths, which are universal law and subconscious reprogramming and spiritual modalities. And today, 25 years later, seeking truth, as a doctor of divinity, I received the Walden Wisdom Award for 2020 next to April Winfrey and Greg Braden and Michael Bernard Beckwith. And I'm just delighted. I'm delighted to be here. And I just want to break on down universal laws and break on down how the subconscious mind works. So I'm going to be doing a series, a 52 series on universal law. We're actually going to be putting out a universal law oracle card deck later down the line, but for now we are still creating it, and it's been super fun. So I'm going to basically teach the entire 52 series of universal law. So let's get started. So we always begin with spiritual mind treatment, meaning that we treat our mind. You can call it prayer, but we don't believe in prayer to some man in the sky. We don't pray for anything. We pray to become something. We expand our spiritual mind into the one divine mind so that we know in that one mind, that I am, that all things are possible. So let's do this thing. So we're just going to I put my hands together because I like to rub them together to really rev up the left and right hemisphere of the body, which connects the right and left hemisphere of the brain, connecting in and taking a deep breath. I put it at my heart right here, just to connect the heart and the mind and the right and left hemisphere of the brain, taking a deep breath in through the nose and exhaling out through the mouth. And so we do this with the spine erect so that we can actually take the energy out of the top of, the head into the infinite ethereal realm. And then we take it also to bring the energy down to the center of the earth, to the finite, knowing that you are the alpha and omega, taking another deep breath into the nose and exhaling out. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful in this divine day to know the truth of such great wisdom, the lineage of new thought, which is in every single moment, you have a new choice, you have a new breath, you have a new opportunity to energize what you do want instead of what you don't want. And I recognize that through universal law, I understand how this vehicle works, how this one body, how this one soul is actually working through the one mind and the one soul and the one life. So I know right here, right now, the power that I am the all powerful, all knowing, one spirit, one soul. And in this, I also recognize that I get to be the individual, the unique divine expression as the fractal in this body, in this DNA, recognizing the specific personality. This is a culmination of everything that's ever happened. And every belief that I choose gets to be fell through the spectrum and the filter of the DNA that I already have. And so I just say yes. I say yes to this day. I say yes to newness. I say yes to transmuting and transforming the DNA that I live in. And may we all expand into our greatness. And I recognize that you have a gift and a calling to bring to the world. The highest product to produce is you. And so I say yes to you. I say yes to your voice. I say yes to your transformation and your growth. As together we say, and so it is. Okay, you guys, again, I'm Dr. Erin. I am a doctor of divinity. I am the founder of New Thought Global and Society. We train and develop, anyone who is spiritual awakening. Our mission is to awaken 1 billion people on this planet, helping people do their inner trauma work through the E4 trauma method that I developed, the truth triangle of really taking people through a process of growth of awareness, of understanding their core values and awakening and taking back the power that they are, being able to put their boundaries on people, places, and things, and be able to accept people, places, and things, being able to have a daily spiritual practice that truly taps into your higher self so you can transmute all of it, birthing your life purpose statement, all the above. So in this series, we're going to be talking about universal law. We're going to be going through 52 universal laws. And so we first want to break down, what is universal law? So I always think of it like, imagine that you had a car, you go buy a car, right? And you get into the car, and imagine no one ever teaches you how to drive. You've never seen a car before. You don't have an owner's manual. And you're like, what do I do? You wouldn't even know. Like, I don't even know I can drive the car. I didn't know I can, what's reverse, what's forward, what's whatever. So imagine how challenging that would be if no one was ever to guide you, right? So I feel like the same thing is with universal law. It basically teaches us how we're manifesting 24/7 and how we are directing energy upon universal law for specific demonstration. And so in this, I just know that if we understand universal law, we get the manual to this vehicle, right? The thing is that we forgot that we're not the vehicle. Just like your car, you can get out of your car, you can open the door and decide to get back in. Well, it's the same with the spiritual being. You can be outside of your body at all points in time. You can go through the ethers through imagination. That's consciousness. That's the truth of who you are. And you can come back into the reality of being in this body, but remember how to drive it. So I'm going to teach you how to drive your vehicle. We're going to learn how this vehicle works. We're going to learn all the buttons in the vehicle. We're going to learn how to do a 360. We're going to learn how to speed, race on whatever. We're going to learn how to park. We're going to learn how to reverse. We're going to learn how to do all these things in your vehicle through universal law. So universal law is basically the way that we manifest. It is the axioms of life. It's the physics and how we truly believe as New Thought Movement that it should be the same. Science, spirituality, philosophy, even religion should all add up and be saying the same thing. And we truly are here to find the commonalities between all those to have us understand. And for me, when I went through my big awakening and transformation, it wasn't about changing. It was actually in the moment where I realized that I had manifested and demonstrated every last drop of my experience of life. And therefore, it restored my power instantaneously. And so through this, I am, knowing that we have to logically have enlightenment and transformation, and we have to have experiential enlightenment. And so I'm going to give you both. We're going to come in here. I'm going to give you logical things. I'm going to give you some homework always and little things to practice at home for you to experience your enlightenment. And we're also going to be doing some group processing around it, but universal law is the primary teaching of this series. So universal law is the way we manifest. It's the axioms of life. It's the modes of operation, how we're operating. It's basically how the consciousness, the pure source, the pure power decision that you are, that part of your consciousness is what we consider the spiritual realm, your dynamic that can actually create and co-create. Okay. And then we go into what we're considered into the subconscious mind or the soul. And that's what we call the subjective mind, because it's subjective. It's the medium. We call it the feminine aspect of creation. Also, the masculine is the part that actually is, impregnating the actual soul, the subconscious mind. It's kind of like, lieutenant in charge or queen in charge, and having all of the, soldiers or helpers, be able to say yes. And the subconscious mind only says yes. And so it is. That's how what we end in spiritual mind treatment, right? So, and then that's connected with universal law. And so it's constant reflection. All of life is a reflection of what's been decided and what programming has happened within your DNA. And so we recognize that we are immortal, eternal, all-powerful spiritual beings, and we are in this DNA. The DNA is everything that's ever been created. And what the kind of goal is, we're here to experience life in its fullest. And in order to do that, we have to really turn on the DNA. We know through epigenetics that basically DNA is kind of like strangled by the traumas, by all the limited beliefs that basically are tags on the DNA. And through our spiritual work, we untag that. We neutralize the mental pictures that are connected with the Akashic records and the DNA. We unentangle it, and we begin to express our DNA and be able to fully experience all perspective of this universe and be able to experience full enlightenment. So universal laws, what are they? They're the triune nature of the spirit and the soul and the body. What are universal laws? The way the way that we form energy. We're basically here as energetic beings using universal laws. So it's like the dynamics. So imagine that in the universe, there was no laws, there was no order, there was no gravity. Everything would be swirling around and there would be really nothing to really create. We couldn't create. So universal laws are the order, it's the harmony, and first principle of heaven is order. So we have to have order. So we're going to actually organize our thoughts, organize our life, organize our core values, organize, what matters to us, birthing our life purpose statement. Okay. So laws, universal laws, are the way that we manifest. It's said that love directs and the law makes it possible. Knowing new thought, there's so many great teachers, everything from, Emma Curtis Hopkins and Louise Hay and Michael Bernard Beckwith and Thomas Troward and Ernest Holmes and on and on and on. So many will be teaching all that as well. Okay, I'll be teaching all that as well. But we realize that the extent to which we create in accordance with universal law is the degree to which we will experience our divine power. The extent to which we create in inverse or against universal law, in non-flow, we will experience being powerless, disempowered, and we'll move more and more into discord, dysfunction, addiction, and sadness and depression. Okay. It's a gradient. So right now and right here, I recognize whatever you've been through is your karma, which is the sum total of what you've chosen before. So we're going to realize what we've chosen and how it's demonstrated, how it's manifested through universal law. So universal laws are, again, the way that we demonstrate, the way that we manifest. So we're going to go through 52 laws, everything from the law of pure potential, the law of time, the law of gender, the law of creation, the law of cause and effect, there's so many laws and distinctions, but it all really is teaching one thing, which is cause and effect. The first cause is spirit, is consciousness, and the effect is the outpicture of everything, right? So all these 52 laws are really teaching oneness, the law of oneness, the law of love, the law of cause and effect. It's all one law, which is really how we're demonstrating, how we're manifesting. Okay, the law of divine will. I'm kind of going through the law of emergent evolution, the law of perfection, the law of growth, right? How do some things take a lot of time to manifest versus other things don't? The law of transmutation. How do we transmute things? The law of non-attachment, the law of allowing, the law of abundance. There's only abundance in this universe. The law of correlation, the law of love, the law of gender, the law of perfect health, the law of mentalism, the law of healing, and so on and so forth. There's so many laws we're going to go through. Okay. So I want to just take a deep breath again through the nose and exhale out. And so why would we want to know the laws? We want to know the laws so that we are freed up of our reactions and our upsets and maybe even our sadness. We want to know and understand universal law so we can know how and why we're sad or why we're happy or why we're experiencing abundance or why we're not. We want to understand universal law so we have freedom of choice and no longer just being programmed through what the cultures told us, what our parents told us, what the movies told us, what the magazines told us, what social media tells us. We want to understand universal law so we can understand how we can really have the life that we truly desire. Meaning that how can we experience what we truly want to experience? And so why would we want to know universal law? So that we can know thyself. And when we know thyself, we know all of the universe. I know for me, years ago in my 20s, I'd had a full-term stillborn at the age of 22. And the next day I went into the mortician's house all alone. And I had a moment with my stillborn baby's body. I was down in the mortician's room and I was all alone and I was crying with a big lump in my throat. And I was crying and crying, looking down in his body. And I realized, like a flash of light, I realized he's gone, but his body's here. We're not these bodies. And in that divine moment, I recognized that I am a spiritual being. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know the answers to that. But what I did is I decided in that moment that I was going to commit my life to discovering who I was and what my spiritual nature was. And so for you, I would invite you to powerfully decide to learn about the universal laws so that you can help yourself and everyone in your life understand more and more about themselves. So deciding to commit to this series And in that, I would love for you to subscribe and like and share out these videos, because I believe truth will set us all free. And it's important for us all to awaken the world together. Again, our mission as New Thought Global and Society is to awaken 1 billion people together. So in that, let's take one last deep breath in and exhaling out. And I just know that right here and right now, that everything, all of life is this mirror. When we go to the mirror, we don't look to the mirror to change and then change ourselves. If we want something to change in the mirror, we change ourselves, and then the reflection within the mirror changes. And I recognize that's how it works. And I recognize whatever limited beliefs and whatever traumas are in your soul and on your DNA, I recognize that all of that is for your good, that trauma minus emotions equals wisdom. And so I know that whatever you've gone through has been the greatest blessing of your life, because through that, you become somebody that has the wisdom to bring the wisdom from the ethereal realm into the physical realm, to help others and help them awaken and help transmute all of our pain, all of our suffering into our power, into our passion, into our purpose. And so I just say, let it be. Let us be used for the highest good. May this be the most powerful universal law series ever, and birthing the universal law oracle cards so that we can know and remember every single day in every way that all answers are there, that everything is at our fingertips, that we always know that whatever we're going through, we always have choice. We always can have a new thought, and we always can fully know the truth of who we are. I just say, let it flow, let it be. As together we say, and so it is. Thanks, you guys. I'm so looking forward to doing this series with me. Again, if you like and subscribe, it would really mean a lot to me sharing it out. You can find me at drerin.tv across all social media, drein.tv. We do have free different events going on. We've been doing live podcasts on Mondays on Zoom. You can get the links below, along with I'm doing a 1-day workshop. We also do 5-day challenges, and you can just jump into the community and find your besties, spiritual besties, and all the above. Comment below. Let me know what you want to discuss, because I will bring it into my my other videos. Okay. Have a beautiful day, and may you live your truth.